appreciate it tremendously. I'm trying to get this darn YouTube thing going, but in the meantime, you can go to Twitch for those. Sorry about this. It should come up eventually. I've had to restart everything, and hopefully it will come on in due course. Right, today on our list, we have a number of people. I have mentioned the list very briefly. It's there for everyone to see. And I see we are now live. I'll put the tag up just now. But we are live, thank goodness. So hopefully it'll come up. I've got a problem. Every time I copy a link, it shows a previous link. So I'll have to try and figure out why it's doing that. You say get the link, and then it shows you the wrong link. So I'll sort that out. Lots to sort out. Okay, Paul, to you, sir. OE8PCK, don't forget to switch your microphone on, from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee, India.
So, let's hope everything's working and that you can hear me. A very good afternoon, good morning or good evening, wherever you're listening and watching from. I'm so pleased that it seems to be working. I can see that the microphone is switched on, and the lip sync's not working yet, but I haven't got that sorted out, so please bear with me. That was very interesting with Arthur C. Clarke and his prediction of the future, a bit like Jules Verne and H.G. Wells and all these people who've got the vision to see what's to come. I can remember back in the 60s when the first digital integrated circuits came onto the market, attending a sort of lecture, and it was just unbelievable what the people were saying there, and now it's exceeded that, what they were telling us. One other thing, as I can, and I'm going to do some experiments and see if I can get this Node-RED thing going from Ohan, but not on this setup, on another setup, because I'm going to leave this well alone. So, microphone goes on to Mike, G1 London Whiskey X-Ray.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Gary. Yes, very good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and to all the they aren't listeners, are they? They're watchers. So hello to everyone. Yes, Arthur C. Clarke, very clever fellow. He actually used to be the president of the BATC. I think it was only for 12 months, if my mind serves me correctly. But I'm going back now a few years. Going back quite a while, but he was the president of the BATC, which was quite a coup for them. So yeah, I mentioned before a few weeks ago I was having problems with the Cerit tuner. Well, I've actually sorted the problem out. I removed the chip. There was a 3.3 volt short. I couldn't find anything wrong with it, so I removed the chip and the short's gone. Only problem is I can't get the chip, so that's confined to the bin. Yeah, I haven't much to say. see we've got Mike back from his travels, and he's going to tell us where he's been, so that should be interesting. So that's all from me, just one off again today. I was taking the wife to work today and the traffic was horrendous with Christmas shoppers, so I'll have to go even earlier. So if I don't come on next week, I'd just like to wish everybody all the best for the Christmas and the New Year, and see you in 2024. Right, who have we got next? Let's have a look. Oh, it's Mike 2. Over to you, Mike. G0MJW from G1LWX.
Okay, thanks Mike. Not sure about Mike 2, but yeah. Give your subwoofers a test there, not done that for a while. Arthur C. Clarke, eh? Yeah, well, as I said on the chat, the ones that people remember, the predictions people remember, are the ones that were right. But he did do quite a good job on that. I think that's why we call it the Clarke belt for the satellites, or we used to. He predicted geostationary satellites and several other things, actually. He was also quite a good author. But we still have the Arthur Awards at the annual, or is it biannual? Well, it's every year we have the Arthur Awards at the Space Conference. And I don't know who won it this year because I wasn't there because I was away. Anyway, just a few things to talk about. First of all, I might talk about this lot, which are things that I've got on the bench that arrived whilst I was away. But maybe I'll talk about being away first. I've been away in Dubai at the World Radio Conference, which ran from the 20th of November to the 15th of December. So 4 weeks. But I went a couple of days early and I came back on the last day. Wonderful organisation by the people from the UAE, the Emiratis, and it was very, very good, nice event to attend. Everything was arranged and everything was very well organised, so it was good. There was a lot of arguing and discussions and well into the evening, of course, on the agenda, but that's nothing unusual. So outcomes, well, you'll probably see what is in the press if you're interested. If not, I won't go into it, apart from probably the only thing that amateurs are interested in, well, largely will be 23 SEMs and the agenda item about 23 SEMs, which Barry G4SJH was leading on. That ended up as a footnote, which basically says, well, if you feel like it, follow these recommendations to protect Galileo and other GNSS systems for amateurs. So not a very strong instruction, so that's good. That's what we were looking for. Nothing too serious. Okay, so I'd not been to Dubai before, and it was an interesting experience. Very nice city and wonderful weather at this time of the year, presumably just like you've got in South Africa, or maybe not, I don't know. Right, let's go on to this stuff here, and I won't take too long, I promise. These things arrived more or less whilst I was away. Some of them arrived just before I left, actually. And you can see what they are. And I'm going to try and zoom and pan, but that's going to be tricky because I'm looking at the wrong display. So let me just move things around. Oop! No, I zoomed in too far, didn't I? So this is a device for flattening batteries and testing their capacity. Works rather well, 18650s. It'll do 4 at a time. I've only ever tried it with 2, but it charges it and it discharges, so you can work out whether that battery you bought was up to spec. Then if I go the other bit down, And zoom in a bit more. Oops. Oh dear, I'm not really good at steering this thing anymore. The thing in the middle with the 4 red bits at the bottom, that's one of these new zinc SDR devices, and Charles G4GUO put me onto these, and they look quite interesting. They're effectively a Pluto, but with a slightly larger FPGA, and gigabit Ethernet built in, and heat sinking. So if you take out, it's got an SD card reader in it. If you take out the SD card, it boots from firmware that's compatible with the Pluto. So that's rather good. So you can just use it as a Pluto, which is not much more expensive than the Pluto actually. So it's not a bad deal. Seems very nicely made. Or you can run your own firmware and do all sorts of exciting things if you're capable of writing such firmware, which I'm afraid I am not, but other people are. Then I decided to get one of these Quisheng, whatever they're called, handhelds. I don't know if you can read that. No, it's going to focus sort of. Okay. That's got the ability to take alternative firmware, and it's doing basically a spectrum analyzer scan there around 77s. Covers all the way from about 18 megahertz to 1.3 gigahertz with a few gaps. I mean, that's not particularly remarkable these days, except for they're £15 delivered, which to me is just impossible. I don't know how that's done. I guess there must be surplus from something. And then next to it again is something I ordered for QO-100 or other uses. You can't quite see it. It's still in the wrapper, but it's a USB power meter, and you basically put RF in one side and connect it up to a USB port on the other, and it will tell you what the power is. It supposedly works up to about 8 gigahertz. We will see. I don't think they're very well calibrated, but I think they're stable, so you can calibrate them yourself if you've got the capability to do that, and then measure power reasonably easily and reasonably accurately. And finally, next to it is and I did show this because I remember showing the plot of its performance just before I left. This is a directional coupler which does 23 and 13 SEMS. Theoretically, it doesn't actually cover those bands at all, but it's just off the edge, so it's supposed to be minus 30 dB. So I did a calibration on it, and at 2.4 it's minus 33 dB, 2.3 minus 32 dB, and 23 SEMS minus 29 dB. So once you know those values, you can look at it and get the output, and it'll handle quite a lot of power, but you've got to be careful not to overdo it, because it's got a dummy load on the far end of the coupler. So if there's a strong reverse power, then you'll burn that out. The match wasn't particularly good either, but it's because it's been linearized, so it's good enough. And I think Martin has something similar on his power meter. Okay, I think that's more than enough for the moment. So I'll pass it on. Paul, nice to see you, by the way. We had a chat this morning on the AMSAT UK net on the narrowband transponder, and yeah, and good to see Mike as well. Not seen you on for a while. Excellent picture this time, so you've obviously upgraded something, or maybe it was the lighting was better. Anyway, I'm going to pass it over to Nick, G4IMO. So over to you, Nick, G4IMO, G0MJW.
Yeah, hello Mike, thanks for that. You see it's snowing in my shack. Mute my that. Right, where are we here? Camera. Here we go. I think it's all working. Anyway, good afternoon to everybody on the net. Nice to see everybody. Yeah, on the that Arthur C. Clarke video, Gary. Yeah, he's when you think he made that prediction, or his predictions in 1964, quite amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I think you said that was on Facebook, or was it on YouTube? I'll have to check that out later. Have a look at that. Paul, yeah, your transmission was okay, and yeah, I could hear your audio this time. So excellent transmission from you, Paul. Very good. Yeah, Mike, welcome back from Dubai to a cold. Well, actually, it isn't not too cold here today, but it's about 11 degrees. I think it's warmed up a bit, but it has been very cold last week. Anyway, I've been playing around here with trying to receive these low orbit weather satellites on 136 megs or thereabouts. I think that there's only two satellites, as far as I know, that are working at the moment. One's NOAA 8 and NOAA 18, and one's NOAA 19. There is another one, NOAA 15, but which is still flying around, but it doesn't seem to be transmitting anything. But I haven't got the correct aerial, antenna. So I'm still using this antenna for the reception. It should really be circular polarization, but it seems to work sort of, but it's not perfect. This is a little video that I made using the iPhone, so apologies for the poor video quality. The software up in the top left is SDR Sharp. I'm using G Predict, which is the software on the top right to track the satellite, and it's also adjusting the frequency at the same time, and that's receiving a live, or it was receiving a live transmission from NOAA 18, but you can see on the picture that's coming through there's quite a lot of noise on there, and then after it's received the transmission, when it's finished, it adds the overlay onto it as well, so you can sort of work out where it's actually, where the camera's actually looking. And some of the results, there's a couple of pictures. This is one of the pictures after it's added the overlay on. But you can see the noise across the screen. It's the elevation. It was about 30 degrees, so I don't think it's caused by obstruction. I think the satellite is rotating, so the polarization is changing. So because it's transmitting circular. So anyway, that's one of the pictures, and this is another one of the pictures I received. But I think the next step is to make one of these QFH antennas, which should, if it's working properly, receive circular polarization. So we shall see. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. So fairly successful. I anyway, the SDR receiver was this thing. It's made by Nuilec. It's a NESDR Smart SDR receiver. It's only £30 on Amazon. I bought that on Amazon. It works very well. I was so pleased with how well it worked that I decided to buy their low noise amplifier, but it didn't work. So it wasn't very satisfactory. It's supposed to have a SAW filter in there to help with the reception, but there's so much. There's no specification for the noise, but the output from it is so overpowering with the noise that it completely overloads the SDR receiver. So it wasn't very good. Anyway, that's enough from me, I think. I'll hang around until the next round. So pass it round to Frank. Nice to see you on the net there. G8PQH G4IMO.
G4 IMO and the group. And the group, this is G8PQH. I was struggling to copy you there. You were just dropping out with the 3/4 FEC. I seriously think I've lost a dB somewhere in the receiver. Maybe it's a storm. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Yes. Very good video, that Arthur C. Clarke. My father actually was at school with Arthur C. Clarke in Taunton back in the day. He predicted everyone working from home as well as geostationary satellites. So apparently my bosses tell me we all go back to working in the office now. So not such a great thing. When I was on last weekend or the weekend before, I was trying to show people my cut price CCTV camera that I was planning to use to record bits of the Geminids meteor shower. So here on the south coast it can be rather dark, but this week it's been rather dark and cloudy. But I do have some pictures of fireballs and things like that I can share. Very short anyway.
My meteor camera is mounted on the shed in the back garden. It's built out of low-cost parts from AliExpress and a Raspberry Pi 4. The sensor is an IMX291 and the focal length of the lens is about 4mm. The Pi collects the data and it's shared in a network of around 800 cameras across the world. The field of view of the lens is roughly 45 degrees in the vertical plane and 90 degrees in the horizontal plane. Mine looks out south towards the Cherbourg Peninsula, and the meteorites it'll see can be up to 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The neighbour's HF vertical antenna is clearly becoming visible in the bottom left of the picture, so I masked that out for meteor detections. A few people in the town saw this one and reported it on social media. You initially align the camera against the stars that you see, and from then on in operation every 10 minutes, the camera adjusts its calibration and lines itself up with the stars. It adjusts the brightness across the field of view. Here you can see how the camera pointing has been adjusted over the night's measurements. Once the Pi has finished processing the data, it's uploaded to the servers, and some of the data is available at this URL shown above.
Anyway, that was just mute the audio again. Yeah, that was about that. So that's what I've been up to. So I'm going to hand it over to Martin, G8 KOE, and see what he's got to say. It looks like he's been playing around with adaptive FECs, which seem to, I don't know if the ride is meant to receive those or not, but it seems to struggle with it. So let's see.
The me with you. Great. Yeah. E put me up. That be firmware. That
I the with his the fifth screen PC. That's the so that's God.
Yep, got you loud and clear, Martin. Yeah, morning, evening. Oh, turn the audio off, sorry. Nice to see everybody. Nearly Christmas, yeah. Arthur C. Clarke. Do you know what? It's embarrassing to say, but I'm pretty certain I saw that first time around. And being a young lad, very interested in science type subjects, it was so far-fetched. I just think that
no, this is stupid. And went back to playing with my toys probably. But now sitting here, actually living basically what he predicted is, yeah, it's quite something. What's going to happen in the future? Dread to think. Perhaps we won't be human anymore. Perhaps we would just be Raspberry Pis and Arduinos, and our brains would be inside them. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Anyhow, I haven't really been doing a great deal. I've been doing some, as you probably may recall, I've got a thing about ppm meters, and I built Michael's ppm meter, and I think it was Roger who sent me the files for the bezel to put the display in, etc., or the LilyGo, put that in. Well, what I wanted to have was a self-contained unit. I didn't want boards flapping around everywhere because it's got a piggyback board. So I set about doing some CAD work to produce some sort of framework to hold the piggyback board, which I have now achieved. This is not very good. Oh, there it is there. I'm afraid my roving camera, if it starts to roam around, it freezes. And I think that's basically down to the USB cable, because it's got quite a long USB cable I've attached to it as an extension. And I'm pretty certain it's that. It just seems that if it comes over this part of the desk, it all freezes. But anyway, that is it. I'll show you what I've done. If I turn it off and disconnect it, it doesn't have any audio on it at the moment. But as you can see, it's just now, it's a self-contained unit. The bezel has been modified because it doesn't have any buttons on the front because it will only ever be a ppm meter. But there it is. Interesting thing was that when I wanted to print the bezel, I wasn't satisfied with the finish on the front of it. And the reason being is that, like a lot of people, we print onto this blue masking tape or painter's tape, and it works brilliantly. It really, yeah, the print actually sticks to it really well, and it's quite easy to get off, etc., etc. But it doesn't give you a very nice finish on the front. And I've got a glass bed, and I used to print straight onto the glass bed with a thin layer of PVA glue. It's about 10:1 dilution, and that printed an absolutely lovely finish again. The trouble was that on several occasions, I think it was 3 occasions, I couldn't get the print off the bed. No matter what I tried, boiling water in the freezer, etc., etc., soaking it, and the only way I could get it off was to prise it off, and on 3 occasions it actually delaminated the glass. And you know, they're reasonably expensive considering it's just a piece of, well, I think it's called beryllium glass. And of course I don't keep a stock of them. And of course it mucks the print up as well, because when that comes off, it's got a lump of glass stuck to the front of it, which you can't remove again. Anyhow, so I wanted this nice finish on it, and so I purchased some of this Captain tape, which you've probably all seen. So I put that on it first, and the print won't stick to it. However, a thin layer of PVA, diluted PVA glue, on the top of this prints absolutely lovely. It sticks to it, and the thing is, if the worst comes to the worst, when you pull it off, when it comes off, it will only destroy the Captain tape, keeping the glass bed safe. Anyhow, so that's what I've been doing. Yeah, I quite like this. I'm quite pleased. So I'm going to eventually have my ppm meter up there, and yeah, so that's primarily what I've been doing. Last time I was on the satellite with you guys, I went over to the Piccolo, my receiver, and basically destroyed my collar mic because I pulled the wire out, because the wire basically got tangled up and it basically destroyed it. So I've got a new one of these, only cheap and tatty, but looking at OBS it looks like it's working. I don't see anybody has complained, so I'm assuming that's working. Other than that, I don't really think I've been doing a great deal. I probably have, doing domestic stuff, you know, like we all do. But apart from that, I haven't been doing much electronic stuff, which is a shame. I do like electronic stuff. But yeah. Anyhow, I'm just waffling, so I think I'm going to hand it over now. So that's going over to what? PA3 FBX. So I'm going to put up a test card, and then I'm going to kill carrier. So hope all goes according to plan. So let's put me test card back up, which is there. So I shall kill carrier.
Well, no sound today. I was expecting some sound today, but no music today. Hi guys. Do I have a face cam? Yes, I have. Thanks for all the nice pictures and thoughts, and yeah, those guys from the very past, some were visionaries, and the guy on the wheelchair also saw a nice video of him, nice movie of him, about his life, where he came from and what he did. It's great to have those kinds of visionaries, and yes, part of it never comes through, but so much things are. I'm still waiting as a mechanic, engineer, that I can do homework, waiting for the people to bring the machines to my house so I can repair them. That won't happen. So people in the field always are needed, but many other jobs are being done by homework, and in the near future many of those jobs will be replaced by AI. That's probably the next big thing, I would imagine. Besides everyday improvements and changes and things and updates and trying to keep up, I recently started to re-watch the SAQ movie I'm having on my system, and I will transmit it a few times, probably this week or next week, because it's the real Christmas transmission for 2021. The year COVID was, they made a nice YouTube of it, and I believe, yeah, that's one thing to go. Variable FAC, I don't believe. Despite Winterhill works, I can imagine lots of transmissions, and I saw Gary's right transmission receiving couldn't cope with it. Every now and then you were visible, and yes, it's nice to have the maximum possible vision, but on the other hand, moving your signal going up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's not your signal but it's your threshold, I don't see the value. I really don't see the value of it. You want, in the end of the day, you want someone else to be capable in receiving you. So I can do I can make 32 QPSK, no problem. 32 PSK, and well, now I have a marvelous signal, great image, and nobody can receive me. So what's the point? That's basically my question of the variable FEC. Great, you have nil packets, but if you have nil packets, you just need more information on your transport stream, is it? And if it's not needed today, because it's like audio, you can do 32 bits. I like a little bit more. You can do even 8 bits audio, and it's good enough. But in the end, well, what the value is. I was playing with 5.1 audio just last week, which is also marvelous. And I don't think many of us people have 5.1 audio capabilities in their sound card, at least not connected like myself. So I had a great sound on my system downstairs, but in my computer upstairs here I couldn't hear anything, and I don't see the value of that either, besides trying and playing, and that's what we do, and that's good, Martin. Yeah, what Owen creates and what Everest creates, it's marvelous, and it's a lot of playing grounds for us, and I'm very happy that he has restarted his improvements and his thoughts, and we can play with it, and some of them are very valuable and some of them, well, are not so valuable, and I don't think they are usable, well, unless everyone else is coming. And I think also the other codecs will come eventually, but the reception needs to be equally adapted, and that's the base thing, isn't it? What am I up to? Well, back to basics. I have built something. I have built actually a bias T, something you can buy for a few. Well, first of all, buy something. That's what I thought of. I need to show you something. Where is it? 3D Christmas trees still available on Ali for only €1. So if you order them now, by next year you can create another one. There are actually also local stations, local shops selling these. I know, because there was one of the local electronic shop sells school stuff for schooling, for kids to get acquainted with electronics and soldering and things like that. We do that a few times per year, and I think these are great and speak to the imagination. But there are so many other tools already, and they are still available. Just know where to look for them. So that about that. I was playing with bias T, and yes, you can buy them as well, but most of them are using the SMA, and I am building one for the local repeater, which has end connectors to it. It goes in between an end connector cable, and then after that it will supply voltage to an active 4 antennas, which will receiving on 23 SAMs with some combiner to combine the 4 receiving directions, and some filtering and some amplification just to prevent it from all the, well, it should amplify a little bit to overcome all the losses due to the coupling of all the signals and the filtering of all the signals. So it needed to be active, and I'm going to build that next. I actually have a bunch of these, which are sold as SDR low noise receiver of low noise amplifiers, LNC amplifier, LNAs. Actually, and that one works well. Someone told me that's a great deal and it works great. It's only €5 or so. So I bought a bunch of these, and they do about 2 dB on 23 cents, which is a bit pity because they should go up to 6 gig. But yeah, on 23 cents it's only it's on 70 cents it does about 10 dB. On 23 cents it only does about 2 or 3 dB. So, but that's why I was playing with this BIOS, because that one needs the BIOS. And then I said, well, I still have a VNA, a light VNA. So why not use that one? I have used the spectrum analyzer to check the receiving part of this, and if this one is have not too much loss, and that's okay. But then I thought, well, let's hook it up to a VNA, and I got very strange results. And I start thinking about the impedance of this box. I mean, we have a 50 ohm in, a 50 ohm out, something in between. Is it still 50 ohm? That's basically what I was thinking of. Very basic, and as many of us, I don't normally mind. I test the attenuation of this. If it's within 1 or 1.5 dB, I think it's okay. But I found this is not 50 ohm at all. After so now I'm start to learn how to work with my light VNA, and all about internal of input reflections and S1 and S21, and it's real basic stuff. Something I've learned too long ago, never mind about it, and now I'm learning again. So I have kind of a headache over the last few days, but I will manage to get it working, start understanding what I'm doing, and especially that last part is the most important, isn't it? Well, for that, passing it on to all the way to Brazil, to the Brazilian television station. And yeah, he missed that, Gary, the first improvement, but I think we'll get it now. Getting ready for his cartoon from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, and back to the test card from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay, thank you, Benno. Papa Alpha 3 FBX, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November coming to the worldwide DATV Net. Hello everybody, season's greetings, nice to see you all, very good copy. It's been very hot here lately, 35 degrees at the moment, which is 11:03 in the morning, so probably after lunch gonna reach again up to 43 degrees as every day. I'm under AC here, don't like it much, but that's the only way I can keep alive. Well, very interesting night today. Gary with Arthur Clarke movie. Yeah, visionary. That guy's very nice. Mostly known by the 2001 Space Odyssey, I believe, with his HAL 9000 computer. And yeah, very nice predictions. We don't have this kind of people anymore, right? I don't know. We don't have. But nice to see you, Paul, and Mike. Also, nice transmission. The other Mike, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey. Yeah, that handheld is interesting. I think it's that model. I saw some guy it's able to modify something in the software or in the firmware, so this handheld that you have there is able to receive SSB. It's very interesting. So you can receive SSB on that little handheld. Also, regarding the batteries, currently I'm working with those 2170. Do you know that? Did you know, guys, that those battery codes like 1865 or 2170 is the actual size of the battery? For this one, it's 21 centimeters diameter and 70 centimeters length. The 1865, it's 18 diameter and 65 length. They put a 0. I don't know why, but the last 0 doesn't mean much. The other thing, Nick, very interesting. Your reception from the weather satellites, very nice. Yeah, I think the turnstile will going to improve your reception dramatically, so hopefully you can build that soon. Frank, very nice meteor captures and monitoring system, very nice. We have a guy here in Brazil, is Bill, Papa Yankee 2 Golf November. He's part of this network. He lives in a very high place, and it's like a farm. He has very clear skies almost all the time, and he captures very nice images. He has all the system with the cameras. He has several cameras, and he sometimes sends me some movies of the meteors he captures, and he's part of the network also. It's very interesting, very interesting. Here for me, I would like to experiment that, but I don't have a free horizon. It's blocked almost 360. So for me, even I try several times to do meteor scatter, make some contacts on meteor scatter, but not good for me. For my location here is not good. For people that lives on the sea or near the sea is much better, of course. I see my image gave some. My image is cracking. I don't know why. At least in my reception here, I don't know. But anyways, what else? Frank Meteors, Martin, VFEC. I copied you very nicely. Not a problem. I'm using OpenTuner, and it decoded you flawlessly. No issue decoding you. Very, very nice. Although I got some messages on the WhatsApp, some people that is watching through the Gary's YouTube link, and they asked me, well, what happened with the Golf 8 QO transmission? It's breaking apart. I don't know. Is it a problem with the internet link or what? I said, no. That's because he's using variable FAC, and maybe Gary's reception system is not prepared for that, so they got a lot of red screens there on the internet. But for me here was perfect, no problem. I tried to install, I think they call now Red, DATV Red, but I believe that I did that very fast. I was not with much time to pay attention on the instructions, so I tried to install it in a bench Pluto, but it didn't work. But you mentioned something that I forgot to do. I forgot to load the 0303 firmware first. So it was the Pluto was using a different firmware, not 0303. And I just loaded the new F500 firmware, but it didn't work. So maybe that's the reason. So I need to fall back and load the 0303 first, then load the new version. So I will try later on. For Nick, go for IMO. About the weather satellite. Yeah, be careful with this NOELEC little SDR. I got 2 or 3 of those. They stopped working in, I would say, in 2 or 3 years. They simply died. And I was talking to a friend of mine. It seems he got the same issue, and we concluded that was if you open those NOELEC smart SDR, if you open, you're gonna see a thermal blue pad. Well, I don't know if they change it, but mine had a thermal blue thermal pad, and that thermal pad is corrosive. So it corroded all the PCB. So the PCB got useless because of this rubber thermal pad. I'm not sure. Well, mine was old. Like, I don't know. I bought, I don't know, maybe more than 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, and they were using this blue rubber thermal pad that affected very badly the PCB after a few years. I don't know if they replaced the material. Hope so. Okay. Beno, speaking of LNAs, my mission during this weekend is to try to fix my 70 centimeters LNA. I got a static discharge, and it's always, that's the first thing that happens with the FET. It blows up. So I have the FET here to be replaced, and that's my mission, to replace the LNA FET for 70 centimeters. Basically, I use this preamp to receive IO-117 Green Cube satellite, and makes a hell of difference when I use a preamp. The signal increases a lot. It gives me about 12 dBs gain measured on my VNA. Alright guys, I think, oh, I see Leon just jumping on. Hi Leon. So I'm passing to you. Zulu Sierra 1 Mike. Please go ahead. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November and WW DATV Net. Over to you, Leon.
Thanks, Ed. Let me just see, do I have audio?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I have audio. Yeah, sorry gentlemen, I'm a bit late. I was invited to a barbecue 10 o'clock this morning, and yes, and it was 3 o'clock. I said to them, I should get back now, you know. Anyway, so here I am. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody online. I see it's a nice long list. I only got the last bit of Martin G8KOE and the rest I got. So I've just updated my list here from the web thing. So I'm not going to say a lot. My only comment to you, Phil, okay, on the ppm meter and your method of of making the stuff stick to the glass. I have one of these machines that you do vinyl cutting, you know, for making signs and things, homemade thing. But that material, that stick on vinyl, I use some of that, especially the yellow. I found the yellow works nicely. I've just put a sheet of that on my glass and it works beautifully. And when it gets too old, I just peel it off and put another piece on. That works fine for me. I've never tried any of these spray-on things and stuff that they recommend. So then, Phil, I always forget to mention to you that for the last couple of weeks you've had intermittent audio. When you move with your microphone, you would cut out momentarily, and nobody else made comment about that. So that problem that you've had has come a long time already. So it in the end obviously just failed completely. So good, you sound very nicely now. Nice audio. No problem, no interrupts. Okay, Benno, the bias T you were showing there, I've got a very similar one with the same blue sticker on it. But I think you said yours is homemade, so what a coincidence. Mine is for a 70 centimeter masthead preamp. I never got the preamp, but I got the bias T for it, so interesting. Okay, Ed, I did not see your cartoon. So, right, I give it back to Gary. ZS6 Yankee India for the group from ZS1 Mike in Worcester.
Okay, let's just see that I've got audio. ZS1 Mike, and the group ZS6YI. Let me just cut the audio here. Right, a very good afternoon to all the YouTubers. I'm very sorry I had a problem. For whatever reason, it keeps giving me the wrong address. So I've hopefully sorted that out, but we'll see next week. But a couple of guys I want to say hi to: Peter, DK3 Zulu Fox, and also to Brenda, ZS6YL, Young Lady Bravo, Young Lady Brenda. Very nice to have you on, Brenda, and I hope you're receiving the signals quite well. And then also Alfredo in Italy, India Kilo 1 Charlie from Italy, and nice to see you on as well. And then I saw Adam on the other net. Let me just see who else is on. Oh, there are many, but we just say to G8BXH and Paul. Of course, we did say hi. I just want to see if there's any new guys up. Hello, David. And all right, now to get through to the list quickly, comment. Paul, yeah, it was nice signal, nice audio, nothing wrong with that. So great stuff. I'm glad you persevered and that things are working well. That's good stuff indeed. And then Mike, G1LWX, yep, no problem copying you. And always, as usual, interesting over from your side. Mike, G0MJW, it's very nice to see you back, and pleased you came back in good stead, and that all your landings were planned. Noted you were in Dubai. That's still a hell of a long way from South Africa, I can tell you. And I like the Christmas gifts you put on the table there. I just want to mention that little power meter, Leon. We both have one. Leon actually sent one to me, and we discovered they are exceptionally accurate, but Leon can give you more because he's done more tests. However, they're not good for DATV. You have to have a pure sine wave to measure the power. So Leon can perhaps fill you in a bit more on that one. I presume it looks exactly the same, so I presume it's the same type of thing that you have there, still in the plastic wrapper. And then, yeah, Nick, great on the weather satellites. Yes, I have a friend. He's also a ham. He's a professor. He was head of our weather bureau at one stage. He retired, but he's got many dishes at home. He's very keen to come onto DATV, actually. So I must get around and help him. He's in Pretoria. Kobus, very, very good guy, technical guy. And he's still got a special license from the guys in France, so he can get into certain satellites that we can never do, which he took over when he left the South African Weather Bureau. But anyway, he can maybe give us a good talk about these weather satellites. Many of them are now disappearing, but there are new ones. He has a net, actually, where he gives very, very high resolution weather satellite photos of South Africa anyway. So I'll try and get Kobus to come up sometime. And he's nice and retired, so I'm sure he will not mind. And then also Frank on the meteors. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Actually, I saw a thing about John Denver, and he wrote a song about meteors. And what did he call it? When the rain, I saw the sky raining, something like that. Saw the sky raining light or something. But anyway, it was quite interesting, and nice photos of these meteors coming all over. Yeah, it's the season, isn't it? And Martin, okay, thanks for the help earlier. And yeah, I hope the audio came out okay. It was a really Heath Robinson way of doing things, I'll be the first to admit, but I hope it was okay. And the video, I got this off Facebook, and I couldn't save it. So, you know, I had to link onto Facebook and then play it live, so to speak. But the audio, I couldn't patch through. So I must still learn how to do that. And then, yeah, that variable frequency, FEC, on my normal mini tuner, it was perfect. But on the ride, which is what I use to go onto YouTube, it started to fumble a bit. So I don't know if it's ideal. It's a good experiment, but I don't see any practical use behind it at this point. So the ride gave up a little bit, came and went, and sometimes red patches, just as what Ed said. But on my normal mini tuner, it was absolutely rock steady. So there we go. Phil, I was going to say about your microphone, in a funny way, I'm pleased the thing broke, because for a long time you had this intermittent sound, and I did mention it, I think, to you once. I think you got a loose cable. But anyway, now that you've replaced it, the audio is superb. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But I'm sure you could still repair the other one if you so wish. If you want to do microsurgery, no doubt they're small. And then Benno, yeah, thanks also for the other link, Benno. It's always nice to having two links. This YouTube's been messing me around a bit. When I take the address, you know, so that I can share the link, it gives me last time's one. Something's wrong there, so we'll have to look into that. Maybe you can have a good look yourself as well, Ed, seeing that you set up that channel originally, just to see why it's not linking the latest one. And I will also clean out any residue I have of those links and knock them off, so that we don't have the same problem. And Leon, great to see you. Yeah, I've been missing you, man. about 3 or 4 times I wanted to phone you, and I've ordered 2 of those guns, those soldering guns that Benno showed last week, and it should arrive sometime. They reckon, where's Benno, 7 days or 4 days, we might get them in and around the end of January. But who knows, it might come quicker, and then I'll get one off to you as well. So there we go, we can play with that. It looked very interesting anyway. So with that, I'm going to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas. I think we'll have Christmas before we have our next net. And as they say in Afrikaans, hou matigheid voor oor. That means be careful and be relaxed and don't overdo anything. An old Scottish friend of mine, the late Andrew Machen, ZS6CC1, said to me, with the big meals and festivities, he said, son, always stop eating if you think you can have more. And man, that's great advice, I can tell you. There's nothing worse than overdoing things. So with that, I'm going to close the net officially, but it can run down the links for anyone else that wants to have a final goodbye and a final comment. We just want to thank everyone on Frequency for watching, and also on the YouTube channel. And we see each other next week, all being good. This is ZS6YI, now signing clear, and also closing the net, but it can run through as many cycles as you guys want to. I'm going to get out of the shack. 7-3 all the best. ZS6YI clear.
Yeah, this is Oscar Echo 8, Papa Charlie Kilo back. I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, and also, hang on, got to get rid of the, and I hope everybody has a very successful and prosperous New Year, and a healthy New Year. That's the main thing. So I'm off now, 73. I probably won't be on the next 2 weeks because we traveling to my daughter, and we'll have lots of family meetings, so amateur radio's got to go a bit into the background. 73 to everyone, and thank you very much. And I'll just pop my test card up, and then I'll
Well, I didn't see Mike come on. I guess he's decided that he's got other things to do, or didn't want to come on. Anyway, 7-3 everyone. Hope you have a happy Christmas and a prosperous 2024. Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay, I'll just come up and say wish everybody... I'm on there twice now, yes. Wish everybody a happy Christmas. Nice to see everybody on here. And for those who want to try and receive SAQ 17.2 kilohertz, they're doing experiments on Friday. and I believe they're going to have a go on Christmas Eve as well. So I shall have a tune round, see if I can receive that for the first time. Okay, 73s. I've gone over to 2/3 FEC, so hopefully Frank and Paul can see me now. Anyway, okay, 73, and I'll see you all next time. Cheerio.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, for dropping the FEC down a bit. I wish everyone a very happy and peaceful Christmas, and hope that in the new year all your half-finished projects become more finished, and possibly what I really want is a slightly bigger dish, possibly, or the time to align it a bit better, because it seems to have drifted off slightly. I'm sure it's only a half a dB or a dB off, but it seems to make quite a difference. Mike is back from Dubai. G0MJW already has his things there under the tree. I wonder which version of the Quansheng radio that was, with the little panoramic display. Nice to see Ed on and thinking about 43 degrees. Very nice in the warm. I don't know. I've never tried meteor scatter, but maybe I should. You can certainly see a lot of sky, and maybe I should see if I could pick up weather satellites as well. Interesting enough, the very first professional job I had when I left college was going to be on meteor scatter in the early 80s. There was a military application apparently in the Arctic, in Cold War communications, but I think the project got cancelled before I got to work on it, so I never did. But anyway, 7-3s to all, and a Merry Christmas. I guess I don't know if Martin will come up, but I hope you all have a peaceful and good time, and a healthy and prosperous new year, as they say.
Right, well, we've come back on. We're now fixed, or should be, hopefully. FEC, we've come back on. So for all the ride receivers, etc. And I don't know what size dish you've got there, Frank, but I'm only using a 1.1 offset. It is a new dish that I replaced the used to have a 1.8 down the bottom of the garden, and this one's on top of the garage. But the feeder runs obviously the length of the garage, then all the way around into the shack. And I did find that putting one of those inline amps, those cheap nasty sort of things, helped quite considerably. I didn't expect it to, but so my signal in the garage comes off the LMB into one of those inline amps, and then into the shack, which is the corner of the lounge, then into a distribution set up there, and wires everywhere. So anyway, weather satellites, yeah, I used to be involved in receiving those, going way back. I remember buying a Maplin kit, building it, and it was so bad, the receiver, and I set across dipoles, of course, that it was an absolute waste of time. So I ended up having a dish in the garden and picking up already processed signals, and then feeding them into a card I had in I think 486 at the time, which took 4 images, I think 4, maybe even more, and animated them. So I had a constant animation of things, and I think you could have 4 different animations going on. So I ran that for a while. But once you've automated things, it loses interest. So we soon gave up with that. So that's my with the weather side of things. I think I get it back into it, but I do quite like the look of the camera pointing to the sky and picking up the meteors. Could be very tempted on that. I must look into doing that. There is, I should have, so I was just checking the chat. Yeah, Frank, if there is a link to somewhere was good for me to look to start with, please show it up. But I dare say if I surf, I'll find it. What else was I going to comment on? That's oh yeah, the Christmas tree that I've got. Well, mine's a Mapling Christmas tree, you see, not those ones that you're looking out there, Benno. This is an antique Christmas tree. You know, it's I don't know if it's got Mapling written on it, but that's where it came from, and it's been with me now for quite a few years, shall we say. And gee there, Benno, when I first did the update to Node Red, on the earlier versions, we'll say, is that missing dB, perhaps I should go down to a half. Yeah, I found that it worked, except when I went below 333, I could never get back unless I rebooted the Pluto. Once I'd put 0303 and then updated it to the new firmware, everything communicated correctly with the Pluto. Now I'm running a Pluto B, whether there's any difference between running the different Plutos, but for me it was essential to put 0303 on first, otherwise it didn't work properly. It would work okay on 333 and above, but as soon as you went below that, you couldn't get back. So yes, but as I said, read the instructions to anybody that's going to have a go at Node Red. It is easy is probably not the word, but you need to follow the instructions to start with. And the more you play with it, the more you're able to do things. Yeah, our hand's usually there around to give some help, except if you're like me and ask stupid questions. And then he comes back and tells me that it's first line of the README. So slap on the wrist there, I think. Anyway, I've not looked at the list. Oh, because it's Phil next, isn't it? And yeah, your signals were good there, Phil. Audio and such like. So now you just need to do something about your roving LNB USB lead for your roving camera. And I thought we'd have pictures of your decorations that you were getting out of the box yesterday. You know, I've shown all of mine. Anyway, wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I shall be looking for SAQ, and I'll be around next week, which I think is the Friday, isn't it? So if anybody's around, I'll say hi, and I'll be on during the week. I've got plenty of time to play. Right. Merry Christmas to everybody. Good net, as usual. And thanks for Gary for hosting it and the satellite, etc., for allowing us to use it. And everybody else, and Ohan for putting up with me, and Everest for doing lots of updates that I'm trying to get up to with. Right. And you there, Phil. I'll put a test card and it's all yours from G8 Carey. Merry Christmas to all.
Cheers, Martin. I've pushed up the power a little bit. So SAQ. My plan is to try to receive it. I've built I call it an E-field antenna, which is basically just a metal plate with a very high impedance preamp to it. So I've built that, and the plan is to feed the signal into the piccolo. When I tried it after I built it, which was, I don't know, about a week ago, there's an awful lot of noise, and I couldn't hear any signals on it at all. Wasn't sure if there were signals there anyhow, but there was a lot of noise there. But after speaking to Martin, he's sort of explained that you've got to get it away from the internal signals, electromagnetic signals within property. So it needs to go outside and above the eaves. So that's my plan. So I should be doing that during the week, and all fingers crossed I will be able to pick it up. Anyhow, that's the plan for the week. And as for Leon and my crackly audio, well, that's it. That's the old mic. I am definitely not going to repair it. It's going to go in the bin. Cheap and cheerful from China. Exactly the same as this one. So I don't really fancy the eye strain of trying to repair it and the frustration of it not working afterwards. So I think I shall bin that, and I shall carry on with this one until this one packs up. I mean, I do have a decent mic up there, but when I'm on the net, I tend to use this one as I'm sitting down for quite a period of time. Anyhow, I don't have any Christmas decorations here to show you, so I can't show you any Christmas trees or flashing lights. But what I will do, I should wish, if I don't see you guys before Christmas, I just wish you all a Merry Christmas and have a good time, and very prosperous and healthy. Was it 2024? Blimey. Never thought I'd reach that, but there we go. Right, so I'm going to kill my transmission. I don't know if Benno's going to be there, but I'm going to kill it, and I'm sure the next person will take it on. So this is M0PIT, going to go QO.
So that waked everyone up. I forced my audio tune now of all the jingle bells on the air today. I thought this stirs a little bit up. Hi. Thanks all. Nice transmission. For Leon, yes, this is homebrew. This was just a metal box, and now inside there is a DC-DC converter from 12 to 5 volt, and some end connectors and some capacitors, and a coil for adding the BIOS, the power to the pin on one side. So it's really homebrew. Designed by myself last week only. Okay, well, anyway, we'll play a little bit with S21. I think this will be my Christmas achievement this year. By the way, Christmas is in 8 days here. I think there's still a 7th day, which is the Sunday. Next Sunday is 24th of December. I reckon everyone will be still online. I hope I will be here. I'm not sure, because maybe my relative, my family says, well, not today. But that's how things work out with me. Besides that, playing on with, by the way, putting the latest firmware on my Pluto didn't go well for me as well, because I couldn't get any communication with MQTT, the new way how to control the Pluto. And in the end I deviewed back to the original one, to the analog versions, and then after one or two checks and all the frequency hack and things like that, I finally put in directly the firmware just out of the analog devices firmware onto the I'm not sure if it was well, it wasn't 317 or 321 at which of 23 at the moment, I believe, but I went directly onto the one of the latest one at that point, and I never went past the 303 because I don't like that one at all. But that's just me. It's nothing bad with that piece of software, but I don't like too much controlling, and that's what it did. And that's what I dislike of the Node-RED, the DATV Red yet, because there are so many controls you can do something wrong with, and they are all in the standard transmission, the screen. So in one view you have so many controls, which is good for the specialists, but as we do, well, as I do, normally switch on something and then just push one or two buttons and then it needs to start to work, and it's already too much buttons before I get my transmission on, and I don't want any buttons which are not needed on my screen. But that's just me, maybe. Passing it on to Ed, you didn't mention anything about your filter, if it's already in, and about your transverter, if you already made some tests. I put it aside 2 weeks ago after some disappointments of my filtering and pre-stages and relays. I had a bunch of relays which I wanted to put in between, and they all appeared half broken or totally broken, and I had so much extra work there that I stopped working, and I was a little bit disappointed. Haven't touched it since. It's still standing in the corner here, but I need to start working on it. And SAQ, yes, I will do a transmission tonight on the video SAQ placed from 2021. I reckon a transmitter from the early days won't be so many different after 2 years. So for those who are interested, it will be visible again. And the receiving part, I'm still looking for when the transmissions are. I'm looking actually on the Alexander Association site, and I can't find any schedules for this week. So, well, let's look and see if I can receive anything here. I might be, but on the other side I might not be, because those low frequencies are normally not interested by me. Okay, well, that's all. Passing it on to Ed from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. For those I won't see again, have a nice Christmas and see you after that. From Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray, and the test card on. By add.
Yeah, thank you, Benno. You're right. Next Sunday gonna be 24th. Although I'm also not sure if I'm gonna be here. So my best wishes. Merry Christmas, everyone. And regarding the Pluto transverter, no, I still didn't get the filter board, Benno. It's coming. It's coming, but I believe we'll get here sometime after mid-January or so. So I think I mentioned I tried to test it on the transmission, but my amplifier, LDMOS amplifier, didn't like it. I think because of too many harmonics generated by the Pluto. So I stopped testing on the transmission. Reception was fine. Reception was fine from 6 to 80 meters. Don't have antenna for 160, so reception was pretty good. Although the transmission I will hold until I get the filter board from the same guy you got from Hungary, I think. Yep, that's it. Yeah, just getting the VNA battery recharged to start testing the LNA for 70 centimeters. So let's see what's gonna happen. All right, guys. All the best. 73. Hopefully see you next weekend. Otherwise, Merry Christmas and see you in the next one. 73 from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Back to you, Leon. Zulu Sierra 1 Mike.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Papa Yellow 2 Romeo November ZS1 Mike for the group. Right, okay, I can say hello, Gary, and hello, Paul, and hello, Mike, and hello, Nick, and hello, Frank, and Martin and Phil. Yeah, okay, those I did hear, but the others, yeah, was only their last round. Comments, okay, the SAQ, yes, I've tried many times to receive it here, but we are just too far, I think. Doing it from inside town is impossible. There's simply too much noise. So I have a big receiver. It's a communications receiver. It's got an entirely separate VLF section. Complete, the whole front end is separate from the medium and HF section, which goes down to, I think, 5 kcs or whatever. And fortunately, that thing can also run off 24 volts. And I took it down to the airfield with my active antennas, which I've built, that we use on those submarine frequencies. I know the one thing is in Australia, and that I pick up quite easily. But even with that connected to the thing, nothing. That SAQ is just too far, I think, or the power is too low. But I think you have a better chance with a very good, like Phil said, capacitive high impedance antenna. Well, that's basically what I've got. But as your final receiver, after you've gone through some band limiting, as then go to a SDR receiver where at least you can see the CW in negative signal to noise ratio even. Maybe I'll see it with that. So that will be my next attempt. I don't think I'll make it this year. It's a bit too soon. But I'd love to be able to receive it at least once in my life. As I say, the other things, the submarine ones that they use for detecting the solar flares and stuff, that I've built my own receiver for that. There it is. And that works very well. I recorded on strip chart, well, on an electronic strip charter program, and that works very well, even in town. Okay, Frank, did he come up? Yeah, but yeah. Martin, G8KOE. Yes, okay, so you were not receiving the weather satellites, you were receiving Meteosat, the geostationary one, with a time step card. There was a British firm, Time Step Electronics, who manufactured those cards. I've got one and I've never used it because I built the earlier frame stores. I built 3 of them, which we used for the orbiting, the real weather satellites. I preferred them because they were much lower, much higher resolution, and it's real time. So I still have the receiver, and I think I've still got 2 frame stores, but I haven't used it for many years. A lot of the satellites died, but apparently there are still some of them alive. People don't use the frame stores anymore because PCs were invented, and yeah, yes, we did that before PCs, eh? Can you believe it? Now you have PCs and you just load a program and you just feed the audio into the sound card, and you can disseminate the picture. It's still fascinating to see real time. Oh, there it comes, you know, you can get it there from Central Africa, about you get it coming down, way into the Antarctic. You can see the ice on the sea and all that. That's how I managed to get down to the Antarctic. The captain heard of my contraption that I built, and he said, I want that guy with his machinery on board the ship on the next voyage. So it was arranged, and I installed my whole business on the ship. And yes, he wanted to be able to see the cracks in the ice, because sometimes, you know, it's all fogged in and so on, and they don't know where they get iced in, and they don't know which way to try and get. And it actually worked. You could clearly see the large cracks in the ice from the Meteosat pictures, and also the Russian Meteor ones. They were very good. They did at that stage. The Russian ones didn't have the infrared, but the visible light ones were very good. The NOAA ones had infrared and visible, but not the visible wasn't as good as the Russian ones, as the Meteor ones. Anyway, that's nearly 40 years ago. Right, that was time step. Yes, new mic works. Okay, and Benno, yeah. I also have a homemade bias tee. This is my homemade one. It was a pre-emphasis module, which I'll explain now, but there I've relabeled it. That's my SHF one. I also have one that I've built for VLF, which is for typical for SAQ and those things. So obviously the component values are much larger, big caps and large chokes and so on for the very low frequency. But this is what I use on QO-100 when I do my field station stuff. So that is the bias tees. Yeah, that's about it from me. Yes, oh, where I got that from? Yeah, that's actually a brass box. 33 years ago, I bought the whole microwave link system from the SABC, the South African Broadcast Corporation. That was when we started television in South Africa in 1975. That's what they used as links from the outside broadcast vans to the studio to get the video there. They were 7 gigahertz microwave links. Very old, okay, by today's standard. They started off with 100 and something meg crystal oscillator. That got multiplied, and they ended up with 25 watts on 2.5 gigs. Then that went into step recovery multipliers, tripler, for 7 gigs. Well, a little bit lower because they had a 7 meg IF which they mixed at high level, at output power level. They mixed the 70 megs with the 7 gigs to get 7 point whatever. They had different channels, and the final output power was 750 milliwatts. And I still have the beautiful sturdy tripods and some of the dishes and stuff of that equipment. But the equipment, it was still functional, but we don't have a legal ban on 7 gigs. And it was too far to get it up to 10 gigs. It was long before satellite communications. So I tested them. Yes, they worked, but it was illegal. So I stripped the whole lot. I've still got some of the 2.5 gig modules, which I actually recrystalled and tuned them down to 2.4 gigs, which we used as beacons at the workplace, because that was one of our operating frequencies on the test range, was 2.4 gigs. So, and at 25 watts, it's a hell of a signal. So anyway, I've got lots of these little boxes, and I just strip out the guts, and because they're already fitted with BNC connectors, and it's all genuine brass, hammer-tone finished. So it's nice utility boxes, which I got for nothing. I think I paid R1,000 for the whole lot. That's tripods, dishes, transmitter sets, receiver sets, cable drums, and it was a whole truckload full of stuff. And I still have lots of it left. So yeah. Anyway, okay, that's it from me. Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year to all. And hope to see you next year. I shall not be on this coming Sunday because I'll be, for the 24th and 25th, I'll be with my sister and family in Somerset West, which is a suburb of Cape Town. I'll be there for 2 days, so I'll miss this coming Sunday's net. But have a wonderful time, and as Gary says, hou matigheid voor oor. Cheers, 73s from Azarius 1 Mike.
Yeah, I'm just going to pop up. If you're still there, Benno, I've sent you an email with the SAQ information. So if you're having trouble finding it, and let's go to the screen. What I use to, should be using to receive it, which is my SDR Play, the DX version, and 18.1 is where the Russians will tend to appear. 18.3 will be the French, and 19.6 will be the UK, and various other signals, but obviously 17.2 down there is where SAQ should come in. So yeah, and you were right on time step. I couldn't think of the name. I could remember I got quite involved, and yeah, I got so much disappointing results with the orbital stuff because of paging sort of start equipment, etc., that tended to come up and kill things where I was. So yeah. Anyway, and the SAQ aerial I'm using is just a small whip with an amp underneath it, which is on the eaves of the house, and works quite well. I got it last year.